How about this? Lismore plainclothes cops shot a magpie in the middle of a weekday at the shops a few years ago and injured an old lady and caused a bit of a stir. Can you imagine the justification in Australia? Like, we were just talking about America. I could imagine this happens all the time. But in Australia, for a plainclothes officer to draw his firearm.
Do you think they were undercover? Like, were they staking out the magpie?
Riding back and forth.
This was like a sting.
They got their rookies to just put on their stack hat and go up and down the mall.
Yeah, congratulations, Constable. Here's your stack hat now.
But we talked, in the very beginning about, what is reasonable force? Like, what am I was talking golf club or tennis racket. This cop has just gone straight up execution style.
Well, he's got a gun, man. Dude,
is that justified? Is that like a justified life in danger? I know that people can have accidents related to a magpie attack, but they're not lethal attacks. Like if it was a rabid dog, sure. Okay. If it was one of those land sharks, if it was a Sharknado that had blown because Lismore wasn't near the water, if the sharks had been blown in somehow, yeah, sure, draw your firearm. But a magpie, I mean, come on.
I mean, look, you'd have to think
you couldn't have tased it first.
All right. You know what? Blokes with guns kill magpie at Lismore shopping centre. Okay, here we go. So, all right. The magpie was at the Whyalla Road shopping centre in East Lismore, and it swooped one local resident too many. 2 plainclothes police came along and shot it Tuesday lunchtime. Now a gun control group. Yeah. So the magpie was swooping local residents, and the plainclothes police have come along and shot it on their lunch break.
But that seems extreme. Would you imagine, you don't hear gunshots in Australia very often. If you found out it was because there was a swooping magpie, and it was in it, this is a busy part of Lismore. It's not like it's a country road. It's a shopping centre. There's a mall and stuff. Pedestrians, people on their lunch breaks.
The New South Wales Police Force Handbook has a whole section on destroying magpies, which instructs police to use a shotgun.
Okay. So he didn't pull out his handgun. He went down with a special, a shotty? I mean, that's going to absolutely decimate the magpie.
Local residents, though, were very angry about it. The Facebook
this
page...
is why that rap band MWA, they formed after this because they were so upset with their treatment hands of the police. Like Magpies with Attitude. You haven't heard that song? Fuck the police.
No, I remember. Sweep the Police. That was their song, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Back
the police, did you say?
So, follow up to the East Lismore Magpie shooting yesterday. I just spoke to one of the attendants from Spa. That's the local shops there, the supermarket. She said she was pretty scared. 2 guys with a shotgun, so they did use a shotgun, and no police ID walking around and shooting. Yeah, well, I guess if they didn't identify themselves as police and they just started shooting a shotgun at magpies, there was how's this is the final comment. There is a lone magpie there now. It ignored me as I walked past.
Fucking learnt your lesson, didn't you, magpie?
Yeah, well, you kill one, you teach the rest.
It's not like that magpie didn't recognise you. As we know, they have a great memory for faces. That thing was fucking shitting itself.
Oh my God.
Will, I've one bit of advice. If you ever hear a shotgun ring out like a bell, just grab your 9, because all you'll hear is shells. You'll fall to the concrete real fast, but just jump in your car and slam on the gas.
How's this? One local spoke out against the magpie in question, writing, "The dead magpie started his attacks at the beginning of August, pursuing me from Avondale Avenue all the way to the Spa."
Well, this is but this doesn't sound like a witness statement. This sounds like a prepared statement. Like this has been vetted by a publicist.
I have walked the long way and still been attacked. Well into December, the last 2 years. Cut ears and cheeks are unpleasant, but reports of permanent eye damage might encourage some balance on this issue.
Wow.
Well, there you go.
Was that a letter to the paper? That sounds like a letter to the local paper.
I believe that was to the Facebook group where everybody else was like saying it was a disgrace that the Magpie had been killed. But this person,
always back the blue, mate. Always back the blue.
Yeah, this person was. According to the Facebook page, the bird had previously swooped other Lismore residents, but was quiet and lovely most of the time. Well, that's what they always say when they find a serial killer. The neighbors are always like, "But he was just a nice guy." So that doesn't free the Magpie.
No, that's not going to get him out.
No,
I mean, but it does send a message to other magpies, doesn't it? Like, if magpies have such a good memory, I mean, they're not going to trust the cops. That's the problem, though. That's the other thing is like when there actually is a legitimate issue, the magpies aren't going to pick up the phone. They're going to be too scared to call the cops. But it does make them pull them into line a bit, doesn't it? Because now suddenly they're like, we can't swoop those weird pink things that walk on two legs because they have a thunder thunder stick. You saw what it did to Gerald? It was terrible.
I mean, you do have to keep one alive to report back to the others, right? So what you've got to do if you're a cop in that situation is you've got to murder the magpie in front of the other magpie.
Kill one, educate 1,000.
Exactly. And like knowing that they'll remember your face too. Like, take off your glasses, stare them in the eye. You go, good look at this. And then just put a bullet into your friend. You tell everybody about that.
But then now all you've done is you've just created a generation of like magpie terrorists who are like, fucking hell, man. Like,
resent authority. Don't trust the police.
Don't trust the police. They came, and they came in. This is our territory too. Yeah. You've taken our area from us and you've killed with impunity. Fuck that, man. I think you're just going to see a rash of kind of like guerrilla.
But it's only 10%.
No offense to the gorillas. I mean, it's only, not literal gorillas.
It's only 10% of magpies. Let's remember, this is let's not judge all magpies by the behavior of a small amount of magpie extremists, right? Like, it's unfair for us to look at the worst
I just want to hear a magpie spokesman come out,
a non-swooping magpie,
and apologize.
Say that they are also against this. I want to hear from other magpies also speaking out against the actions of these swooping magpies.
Will, violence is inherent to magpies' culture.
Oh, you think that's what it is, right? Well, how do you explain them? How do you explain the 90% of them who don't swoop then? Who just go about their daily business?
Well, look, Will, the 10% is what we have to worry about. And it should, there's no equivalent. I mean, we're not going around swooping magpies, are we? Even our 10% aren't swooping the magpies.
Well, actually, I'm sure people are hitting magpies with their cars, and definitely one of them was shot by a cop in plain sight in public at lunchtime.
And we have had reports of a man cycling around the Northern Rivers with a golf club or tennis racket.
Yeah, we're gonna. You know what? Before we actually weigh in on this, we are going to need to check about 20,000 hours of brown cardigan footage. So,
to see the full video, join our Patreon.
Patreon.com/TOFOP.